If I was a deeply skeptical person, and I'm only a modestly skeptical person, I would say this is a stunt to juice up the market. A few days before the midterms, since the president's focused so much on the market in the past as a sign of success of his economic policies. But if we put that aside, I'm still sort of confused. Listen, if we were going to strike a deal with China that just involved them buying more soybeans or sorghum or something like that, we could have done that in the spring. So what it comes down to, does the president believe that the problem is just the bilateral trade deficit and we just need to get a better deal and now we have China on their back heel? Or to what extent does the president accept sort of the Navarro theory that we are in a long twilight struggle with China for economic and technological supremacy?
Well, in which case there's no...
If it's the latter, then no deal.
Right. And there may not be, it may not be a clear resolution. It may be step by step, and this could last, as Jack Ma had alluded to, for a decade or so. I mean, it might not just be G20, but I mean, in terms of how this thing escalates, let's say there isn't a clear resolution like that. We're faced with potentially another round of tariffs that will hit all the other imports from China, and then the tariffs that are already in place on imports, that are of 10% will go up to 25% come January 1st. I mean, do you feel like that's a likely scenario at this point?
Listen, I still do. I fundamentally think this is different. The U.S.-China trade relationship is different than NAFTA, which was really about getting a so-called better deal. I think this is really about us competing with China on the global stage, viewing them as a strategic competitor. And again, it would not surprise me. Would not surprise me at all. Not only are there tariffs on the full amount of trade, but they're there for a long, long time. I think we better get used to them. If the president at this point bails on that and just strikes a better bilateral trade deal, I think there's going to be a lot of negative feedback from Congress where they really do view China as a long-term, military, political, ideological threat.
Well, so how much of what the president tweeted today plays into midterm elections and trying to give his base what they want?
Right. Well, listen. The president sold himself as a deal maker, so this would be opportunity one to make a big deal. And if people think the deal is going to mean China buying more agricultural products, energy, maybe some sort of superficial promise on tech transfer and IP, then it looks like the president has won. He's beaten the Chinese, at least in the short term. It'll mean China buying more of our stuff. Yeah, that would be a win, at least in the short term. And I imagine particularly folks in the Midwest would really like that.